Welcome everyone. This is room 2. I'm Luis Palacesi. I'm from Argentina. I'm a biologist. I'm a former Marie Curie postdoc. I went to the UK a couple of years, long time ago. But this time we're going to present 2 testimonials of Marie Curie postdocs. First of all, I'm going to present Francelis and Boito. Boito? You say Boito? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Please, you can share, Franceli, your screen. Franceli she's Brazilian. She studied computer science in Brazil, and now she's an associate professor at the University of Bordeaux in France. She had previously a Marie Curie Fellow in Grenoble, a beautiful place in the Alps, and in France, yeah, and working on that access for high performance computer systems, the famous Gamma project. The floor is yours.
Okay, thanks for the introduction. Can you just confirm to me that you were all seeing the slides and hearing my voice?
Yes, we do.
Okay, thank you. So yes. I'll just start my timer here so I remember to keep under 5 minutes. So I will just very quickly tell you my experience, what that was like for me. So I drew a timeline. Basically, at some point after a few postdocs, I decided I want to live in Europe. And then when I decided to live in Europe, I started looking for a job and looking at all the websites and everything and contacting people. And I started talking with people from Grenoble, France, that I already knew because during my PhD, I had spent 1 year in Grenoble, France, in the informatics laboratory. So I started talking with people there, and they told me that there was a position that I could apply to, not the Marie Curie one. There was another one funded by France for a temporary position of 3 years, and we could try submitting a project and trying to get that funding. So we elaborated a research project together. So there were many meetings, and I even visited the team for a few weeks. And we decided on what we could do together. And basically, we decided on a research project. So by the end of June of that year, 2017, I was interviewed for that position, and I did not get it. So after not getting it, we started asking ourselves, what could we do? Could we find funding somewhere else? For me to go there and work with them. So someone told me, one professor from the University of Grenoble told me, well, you know, there is a funding called Marie Curie that you could apply for. It could cover your case because they had a call where someone from outside Europe wants to go work in Europe. So that would be perfect. And then I started asking other people, so what do you think? I'm thinking about submitting this thing. And basically people told me, oh yeah, that's funny. We never try that because it's so hard to get, because it's very competitive. It's almost impossible. So, I mean, if you want to waste your time, go ahead. You can do that, but it's so hard to do. Are you sure you want to try that? Well, then by the time I decided to really apply, it was like August, beginning of September. And the project submission was was in the middle of September of that year. So I submitted my project anyway, the Dama project. I remember that I came up with the name of the project in the last half an hour before the deadline, so it was really last minute. And I was very happy I was very surprised, positively surprised to get the funding and have my project funded. So what I think it's more interesting to share with you is why do I think, of course, this is everything I'm saying is my opinion. So why do I think my proposal was approved? How did I succeed? Well, of course, it's a very competitive thing. So the research project was sound, it was good. And it's because even though I only started preparing the Marie Curie proposal in the last few weeks, The research project was the one that I had prepared with the research group before for the other position I applied to. So it was a research project that was extensively discussed. I had presented it to people and people had asked me a lot of questions. So it had evolved a lot compared to an initial idea. In the comments I received from the reviewers of the proposal, the only real complaint they had was that it was overly ambitious, and that was true, and that cost me some points, so that's something to keep in mind. But fortunately, that was not fatal for my project. A thing that I was told that's very important is that my CV, my previous experience, fully explained why I was able to do that project. Like, I was proposing something that was completely in my field of expertise, that I was very obviously qualified to do. And there was a small part of my project that was not in my field, that was like using something else to improve something of my field. And then the team that I was working with, that I wanted to work with, was there were specialists in that team from that thing that was missing in my project. So really, what we could show was that I was very qualified to the project, and the part that I was not qualified to do, the team was qualified to do. So that showed that there would be a lot of collaboration, and that would work. And I see that I ended already my time, so I will stop talking, but you can ask me questions and I will tell later.
Now we're going to listen to Araceli Rojas. She's Mexican and she studied anthropology and archaeology in Mexico. And she just finished last year her Mercury postdoc in Poland, in the University of Warsaw. So Araceli, thank you so much for presenting with us. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Luis, and thank you, Francilli, for the presentation. Well, my project, the acronym of my project was Ethnocodices, but the real title of my project was Oracles from the Other World, using ethnography to study depictions of human remains in Mexican pre-colonial codices. So basically, just for people wondering if you could apply for the humanities or social sciences, absolutely yes, because I enter into that category. And basically I investigated the other world notions and role of ancestors in an indigenous community in the south part of Mexico. So I developed an ethnographical research in order to get inspiration to study and to better understand the visual imagery on pre-colonial codices, in Mexican pre-colonial codices. So that is what I did for 2 years. And I think the most interesting thing, as Francilli did, is to tell you more or less of my development to reach to the Marie Skłodowska Curie grant. So I finished my PhD in 2012 in Leiden in the Netherlands. From there, well, I started rolling all over in academia, well, in Mexico, of course, but in Europe mainly. And I also went to China, and it was a good platform to meet researchers, professors, other colleagues. And there I met a Polish professor, Professor Dr. Katarzyna Mikulska, and I already knew her because I had read her books and articles in my field. And when I met her, I approached her and I asked her, well, I have this idea of this project and I would love to work with you, and I don't know if you are interested. So we started talking, and she read my draft of project, and she said, absolutely yes. I mean, let's try to move on with this idea and try to get you to Poland. And as Francilli, I also tried first into the National Science Center in Poland, and twice for 2 years with that project, and failed twice and I didn't get it. And then afterwards, in 2017, the people in Poland, the administrative staff in Poland, shared with me the Marie Skłodowska-Curie grant. And I applied it, and also I got it in the first round without knowing that it was very, very difficult. I thought, I mean, in my experience, it was more difficult to apply to the national system in Poland than in the European Commission. So that is my recommendation. You have to search for that professor, that researcher in the world, in the university you want to go to, and then also contact the office in charge of management of the European grants, because they actually are the ones that, along with you, applied for the grants. And without them, you cannot do anything, because you need also to fulfill the deadlines, but you also need to fulfill the internal bureaucracy of that university. In order to they to support you, they need signatures and a lot of paperwork. So you need of them. And from there, this is a little bit of pictures of my experience in Poland. Of course, it gives you a very good platform to keep on rolling in your career and in other places of the world. And I would also say that, I mean, the benefits for the university that hosts you is not only prestige, of course, funding, but also the acknowledgement that, I mean, you are doing top level research. It is also the continuation of this top level research. But also, last but not least, I think this would be the most important thing, is the inclusion of internationals, because at least in my experience also here in the Netherlands, but also in Poland, is that they are searching for Latin Americans. I mean, in my case, of course, in Poland, they have a center for Mexican codices, but they were looking for, I mean, actual people with the exact expertise in order to share and to nourish the people already there in Poland with your not only experience and knowledge, but also your culture and your language as well. So that's it. I hope I have covered the 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, Araceli. We do have some questions. You can ask questions in Spanish, because the three of us, or Portuguese, still.
Yeah, I don't speak Spanish, so no Spanish.
Well, but I know. I know, but someone.
I speak French though.
I mean, we can read them and translate them. So, can you help me, guys, with the questions?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Now, someone asked if it was mandatory to go back to your country after the Marie Curie. It's not, actually, because I did not. I went to from the Marie Curie. I actually ended it after only a few months, because I got a permanent position at the University of Bordeaux. So I just stayed.
No, but it depends, because in my case, I had to, because I have a contract in Argentina.
Okay, but was it the European Commission that
No. My country, my country, yeah.
Yes.
And I had like an annual leave, and I had to come back.
Oh, sure, it makes sense.
But it's nothing to do with it's nothing to do with the European Commission, as you said.
Yeah.
Felicitaciones, gran trabajo, says Maria Cisne. How long did it take to get the comments on your application? I've got rejected mine at the GFAH fund in Germany. Francesca, that's for you.
So I submitted a proposal in September. Of course, that was a few years ago, so maybe the dates changed. And I got the answer at the end of January. At the end of January, they told me your project was selected to move forward to the next step, in a very complicated email. So it took me like 2 months to figure out that I got the funding, because it was very weird wording that was not very clear. But yes, so by the end of January, I heard from them.
There's another question from Lindsay Gianluca. Thank you for the rich presentations. I would like to know if we can write an individual proposal having a host institution supervisor, or should we write a proposal in a shared way with European researchers? Yeah, I would suggest in a shared way. It's always useful because you're gonna have, I mean, the feedback from the European institution. I mean, you can do it for yourself, but it will be different, I think. Francieli, do you know if there are, Cesar is asking, do you know if are there huge difference between the project sent to MSCA scholarship and the project from the FAS from Brazil, FAB-based?
I really don't know. I never applied for PESP. I know that I had already participated in another European project, research project, and it's very similar in the way that you need to define work packages and deliverables and milestones and this kind of things for your project. But I'm sorry, I don't know how it works for PESP.
Luciana asked, can we apply for the same institution we got a PhD? I don't think so.
I think not. I know that for my category, I could not work for more than 1 year in the country I was going to in the past 10 years or something. So it was really about going to a new place. But maybe there is another modality, I don't know.
I think it is the requirement of where you have lived before the proposal. I mean, you cannot be living in the place of the host institution. I mean, I don't remember how long, but as Franceli said, 1 year or maybe 5 years before.
That's true. Andre asks, how do I search for potential supervisor for my research? Only through each university website? It's a good question, actually, because it's not easy. I mean, sometimes you read a very good paper and ask the most important author, I don't know how to say that, and say, oh, I like that paper, I might email him. Is he from Europe? I mean, you have to approach people in conferences, sometimes. I don't know your experience, ladies. How do you meet your supervisors?
I would say that, I mean, if you like the work of somebody just by reading that person, or maybe you went to a conference, as Liz said, I also said that I had the experience of sharing several conferences with that professor, and I said, well, I would like to work with this person, no? And yeah, that is I think the first approach. And you can of course always email these persons, no? I've had emailed other professors and they have never replied. So,
yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, it's frustrating actually sometimes. But my suggestion is to target like young people, young people like 50. That's young for me. And like they are senior researchers, but they're not very old or very experienced, because they might not reply never. That's true.
But it is a good idea to just write to a lot of people, because you get lucky and someone will know someone that will know someone that will be interested. True. So just
that's true.
Send emails and don't give up.
No, that's true. Are you following the questions, girls? Please, do you think it can be possible to change research area? For example, I'm experimental and I would like to do theoretical postdoc in a related area. Yeah, that's encouraged actually by Marie Curie, right? To change the subject.
I think it depends, but it maybe depends on the call. But I think it depends, because if you can, with your qualifications, if you can justify that you'll be good in the other thing that you are making, yeah, I think it's okay as long as you can. Yeah. Justify.
Well, I did it. I mean, you have to justify everything, and you have to start with a new field. But I mean, you can, if you have to, I mean, publish at least one article saying that you're moving to another field, but I think you can.
Someone is asking about repeating idea. I wouldn't worry about that, because when you write your project, you have to position yourself with the state of the art. You have to talk about, mention publications of other people who did something, and really justify that what you are doing is new. So even if someone had a project about that thing, if the person did not publish anything, they probably did not do much. So
yeah, it's a good question. Never thought about that, but it's true.
All the Marie Curie projects are published in the European Commission webpage, so you could see also the examples of other projects there.
The abstract or everything?
The abstract, yes,
okay,
yes.
Okay. There's a Spanish question here. Might be for you, Araceli. Hola, soy del área de ciencias sociales y quería saber si tengo que planear un proyecto que incluya, por ejemplo, algún caso de análisis con cobertura geográfica en Europa.
No.
Es que vi que el proyecto de ARA, no.
Sí, no. Absolutamente no. Yo lo hice todo sobre México. Es simplemente que la universidad tenga este interés, ¿no? Por el área de estudio, obviamente, y en Europa, obviamente, hay mucho, tengo que decir, a veces depende del país, pero en Polonia, curiosamente, no lo creería uno, pero hay mucho interés en Latinoamérica. Y, y entonces había como perfecto esa área para aplicar, así que toda mi investigación es sobre México y sobre códices, absoluto, sí.
There's another one from Shakir. It says, Dear Ara, this is Shakir from Brazil, living and researching in Kurdistan, Iraq. Could you share your email contacts?
Absolutely. I will write down on the chat.
Okay, thank you. Is there some advantages or disadvantages if you have already some postdoc for the time of application? No, I don't think so.
I think it's actually a good thing, because you're not going to be unemployed. Because it takes a while until you can start. I think it's almost a year. No?
Yeah, and you only have the limit of 8 years of research after your PhD. So you can accomplish a lot of postdocs for you, but you have
yeah. Because the main goal, I think, is to become like a leader in your field. Bom dia. Já tenho orientador na faculdade. Can you read it, please, Francine? Já tenho orientador na faculdade de Coimbra, Portugal. Tenho mais de 8 anos de experiência em pesquisa. Entendi que o co-fund seria a melhor opção para submeter meu projeto. ¿Es eso mismo?
I'm not really.
Because he says he has more than 8 years of experience.
Yes, because the person already has an advisor in Portugal.
Okay.
The person already has more than 8 years of experience, and the person asks if the co-fund is really the best option to submit the project. I don't really know. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm not sure, because I did not know that, but the person in the session before the presentation said something about an 8-year maximum of experience. However, experience, I think they count after the PhD. So don't count the years of masters and PhD. So it's afterwards. And if you had like years where you did not do research, you could discount those.
Well, Luciana asks, once I found a researcher to supervise me, where's the next step? Well, if he or she agrees to pursue like postdoc with you, yeah, start writing the project?
I would say one of the first steps, actually, in parallel with the project, you should contact the institution. Of course, the researcher that's going to advise you is the person who probably will start the contact, because many European institutions have an office that specializes in helping with funding. So that's the case. That's the case in my current university. That was the case where I applied, where you have an office of people who work helping people submitting projects. So they will organize like presentations. They will give to you a lot of material to read and to help writing stuff. They will often meet with you and read your drafts to help you organize the proposal. Because in the proposal there are a lot of things that you have to answer, and they are not always very easy to know how to answer. So you get help from the institution. That's one thing.
That's true. That's true. Luciana asks, is there any minimum of publication we must have? No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. If you have 3, 4, I mean, that's fine.
It probably depends on the field, because I heard there are some fields where people publish a lot, and there are fields where people publish very like every few years or something. So I guess it depends.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about the impact of the publications either. It's not, I think, very important.
I think it's more important the innovative part of your proposal, because I've had the other people, I mean, saying that their proposal won, I mean, in spite of having few articles published.
This is a very good question from Catherine Andrew. Do you know if possibilities increase when we try it for the second time? It is worth it to try again? Definitely, definitely. I didn't get it the first time either. I mean, failure is an option, always here. And you have the scores, and that help you a lot. So you have to try it again.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And actually, even to complement the question about the CV, you probably should not worry about that, because you cannot change your CV right now. If you are wondering if you have a chance of getting it, you should try it. I mean, people were telling me that it was impossible, and then it was not.
That's
so
true, yeah.
Try it. What's the worst that could happen? Like the worst case scenario, you do not get it.
And at the very beginning, you're really lost, because it was I worked in a natural science museum, and no one there got it. So it was just me, and that's it, and some help, but and not much. And it took me because people think it's just 1 or 2 months, almost a year to write a good project. Can you send, this is Ara for you, can you send the link for the approval abstracts?
For the what?
For the approved abstracts. Well,
yes, I will give you the link of the whole
is there
project.
Yeah. Is there space for humanities? Yes, of course. Araceli said that already. I'm going to skip some of them because can you help me, Fran, please, to read one?
Someone is asking if we had to validate the diploma. At least I did not have to do that. But,
no. No, you don't have to show anything, I think. It's just...
it's very... I don't remember if I had to send my diploma. I'm guessing probably, but I really don't remember at what point I had to do that.
I think in my case, the Polish asked me for my diploma. I didn't have to authorize.
I did. Oh, they did.
Yeah, yeah. It was internally one of the paperwork for the Polish. You know, it varies. I believe per university, of course.
Someone asked if you have to learn Polish, Ara.
No. Well, eventually you learn it. But because, well, I would actually say that I encourage people to go to the eastern part of Europe because at least I don't know if they mention it um, in the informative part of the talk, but last year they gave more money for people applying to the eastern part of Europe because of course we want also Eastern Europe to be enriched, you know, and I don't know. I don't know if that is a question of mine. If that will improve your possibilities, because if of course many people apply more for Central Europe. You can imagine the UK, France, the Netherlands, no, but
Yeah,
fewer
yeah,
people apply for the eastern part. And I would never diminish the quality of research of the Eastern Europeans. I was, I mean, hugely impressed.
Oh,
Yes.
Marie Curie was there from there actually. So she was
Yes.
Polish.
By the way, Marie Skłodowska-Curie was Polish.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yes.
Well, just move on with the questions. Lorena asks, in your experience, how important is supervisor CV? I mean, it is important, but I don't know, it's very relevant.
It's probably one of those situations where it fits very bad, then it's bad. But if it's anything other than very, very bad, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know. I never evaluated proposals, so I don't know what weight they put into that.
Well, Franciri, they were asking, people asking your email. You already posted, right?
Yeah, I posted a few times. I can post.
Yeah, Franciri, yeah.
Yeah.
There's some difference to submit when the research involves directly the study with human beings, for example, clinical research. No, when you in the same application, I think you have right. Did you hear me? The question is just, is there some difference to submit when the research involves directly the study of human beings? I think there's at the end of the application is I don't know, boxes.
And ethics deliverables. Yes, yes, I had to do that because also you have to deal, either if you deal with well, humans and also animals, or maybe personal data, you need to just address it on your proposal, I mean, as a check, as Luis said. But if you win the grant, then you later will have to address those by a committee. But well, that is a second step. But yes.
Shirley asked, do I need to speak the native language of the country I want to carry out my research? No. English is the plain language, right? I mean, if you go there and you learn, that's fantastic. Well, like Fran, for example, she learned French, and you're teaching French as well there.
I do.
Wow.
But actually, I was the institution where I did my fellowship paid for French classes, and I
really?
think
Oh, that's
they
nice.
used some of the money that they got from the funding, because there is some money that is given to the institution to use in training, so they paid French classes to me, and that helped.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
But I would say if you are able to communicate with people enough to come up with a research project together, it's probably fine. You can work together, it's fine.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And can you take at least one member of your family to your host country? Yeah. They pay you a little bit more, I think, if you go with your family, right?
If you are married, yeah, you
have to be married, right?
If you are married,
Yeah.
you are you apply for the family allowance, I think.
Oh, that's true. Like it's like 500 euros more or something like that, right?
They have just increased it for this call, as I learned.
Oh, really? Yeah, it was
Previously.
not that much.
So yeah, it's more. And of course, if you have children, of course you will move with the whole family. Yeah.
Yeah. Your email. Thanks for your testimonials, says Gabriel. I would like to know, in one word, if possible, what was the greatest impact of this foreign experience for you, Fran, Ara, and Luis? What was the greatest
one
impact?
word. Wow,
One word.
word.
In one word, panicking.
Well, for me, the greatest impact was opportunity. I would say, if I had to put one word.
It's a good word.
Yeah, I wanted to work in Europe, and after I got the Marie Curie, like it was one foot in the door. People would come after me, asking if I wanted to apply for their positions, because it's very respected to have a Marie Curie. So that's.
And your word, Ara?
I think, well, challenges. It's the world of continuous challenges, but they are worth it.
Okay. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. Do you have any experience with the co-funding programs? Well, it's a very broad question. Well, Juliana says, I'm intending to apply to Poland. That's great. Ara, cuando aplicaste tu proposal, ¿fue conseguido a través del esquema de widening?
Sí, estaba tratando de contestar esa pregunta. No entiendo bien esto de widening, pero mi proyecto fue muy específico, muy concreto, de materiales muy concretos y creo que no, o sea, no sé, a mí me funcionó ser muy específica en mi proyecto.
Juan Pablo Torres, there are some people asking the question several times because I didn't read it back then. There is a Spanish question, I will read it from Juan Pablo Torres Flores. It says, ¿cómo se cuenta el tiempo desde el tiempo de que termino el doctorado? Yeah, I think we said something about that, right? Tuve un postdoc por 1 año y medio después de 6 meses de terminar el doctorado. Después estuve 1 año buscando otro postdoc y durante 1 año y medio que no estuve como postdoc, mi posición. No es muy estricto, ¿no? En eso. Te dicen, ¿no? Ahora, en el tiempo que cuentan, no es que están calculando a ver si estuvo 6 meses con un break o, ¿no? Es como, miren, los 8 años, es más o menos así.
Sí, o sea, si tienes 8 años, bueno, no importa, esos no se van acumulando después en realidad, ¿no? En realidad creo que es más importante si, por ejemplo, tuviste un maternity o un parental leave, claro. Ahí sí,
puedes justificarlo mejor.
¿no?
Sí, es cierto.
Pero
si tuviste huecos, es difícil.
Sí, no. O sea, en realidad es desde tu doctorado, la fecha, ahí empieza a correr los 8 años, hayas lo que hayas hecho. Yo también estuve mucho tiempo dando clases, por ejemplo, y no en investigación. Entonces, bueno, no me quitaron nada, o sea, tuve que, ahí también mi CV no estaba muy fuerte porque no tenía publicaciones y tenía mucho teaching y no cuenta a veces, o sea, haber hecho nada de clases.
No. O trabajo editorial, todas esas cosas, que es un montón de trabajo, no cuenta. Well, Shirley, this is another question. Can I apply to this fellowship if the university I want to work is located in a country that is not part of the European Union anymore? Yeah, UK, Switzerland, I don't know that.
I don't know. I heard that some UK universities are becoming like affiliated to European universities. It's like, for instance, that is a German university that has like a filial, like a part of it, which is in UK. So
it depends on the university, maybe. Yeah, because I've heard that some guys, Marie Curie postdoc went to Switzerland, so it might be an option. Maybe Charlotte knows about that. During my PhD, I have been involved in different researches beyond my PhD research. Does it count as an experience? Yes. Yes, I mean, if you have publications from those research that you did, of course, it counts. Oh, it's aligned in your CV as well. Everything counts, I think.
However, is the person asking regarding the maximum years of experience? Because in that case, probably not, right? Because it's normal that PhD students do several things. So it's
Yeah, sure. And that's fine. I mean, can you apply several times? Of course you can. I mean, if you succeed, I don't know.
No, if you succeed, you cannot.
No, you cannot, right?
I mean,
know.
if you already had, because for instance, me, I cannot ask for other funding from MSCA because I already received one.
Yeah. Lunchtime session. Well, I would like to ask, what was the difference between the project proposals and what was made?
What was made in the project, what we did?
And we would include new risk. Well, I didn't understand that one. Yeah, well, the people from the
yes,
the ATR.
Yes, for example, well, I finished last year in the middle of the pandemic lockdown. So although, yeah, I mean, that interfered with another field work trip to Mexico, so that I couldn't do. And then, yeah, I mean, because of that, and I guess also due to COVID restrictions, also there might be some influences and obstacles, but well, you have to justify them. No, that you were not able. Well, imagine also people in sciences. I mean, labs were shut down, and so I heard that many people also were panicking, like, oh, I will not be able to finish everything that I had promised. But I mean, of course, well, in the case of COVID, we don't have to worry because, well, this was beyond our hands. But you, of course, problems can occur. You just only have to justify them. And of course, as any research, can change during the development of it.
Another question, we're going to read 3 more questions and that's it. Did you ever feel that you lacked some knowledge when you started your research in your institution? How did you solve it? Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, that's research.
All the time. Yeah, that's research. Yeah. You're lost. At the very beginning, you are lost. You're completely lost. Yeah, you lack some.
I would also say that from Latin America, we also have a very good formation. So you wouldn't believe, because maybe we have also this in our mind, like, oh
yeah,
no, we are not competent like the Europeans. No. You will be very surprised that
our formation might be struggling with the language, but but that's true. That's true. And we have like twice, like every 2 days, like those brown bag seminars or discussing papers and everything. And I was not, and here in Argentina, well, in my institute, it was not really common. And yeah, reading, discussing papers, they love it, and you learn. I mean, well, thank you, everyone. Well, there are still some questions. Sorry. Well, this last one. Which part of your proposal gave you the most and less points? That's the last one.
I really don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't think we receive a quantitative evaluation. I think we receive like a general score.
I think the impact in mine, the very first time I applied, was with the lowest score. I don't know why, but didn't explain it in detail. Or you have to explain in detail what do you bring into Europe and what do you bring into Argentina afterwards. Yeah. And Ada, another word.
I don't remember, but you do have the scores on the impact on the proposal and also on the social retribution. I cannot find the exact word, but once you get it, you don't care. I mean, whatever score you got it, and you will improve it anyhow. I mean, if you were low in certain parts, I mean, you can improve it once you get it.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay, everyone, ladies, just get applause to you. And thank you very much for giving your testimonies. And hopefully in the near future, we're going to invite you again. And thanks for your patience. And yeah, thanks.
Thanks for having
And thank
me.
you for all the people asking questions. And sorry if we didn't manage to answer all the questions, but we tried our best, believe us. Okay, Yara, Franceli, un gusto
Thank you
conocerlas.
very much. See you.
Parabéns.
Yeah.
See you
Good
soon.
luck.